she could, when she was younger, she could like bounce on the trampoline for an hour at a time. She taught herself to swim. She loves to swim. Taught herself to swim in the deep end, in deep water by herself. Fiercely independent to the point where sometimes her clothes were on inside out. But she has moved beyond that. Loves to sing, and in fact, so much so, particularly the Alleluia, but it's not always at the appropriate time for the Mass. Expressive language is developing very slowly. She's got a vocabulary of 50 single words, and not really conversational. She's also had some medical issues. She had a 2-year period of heavy migraine headaches to the point where like once a month would end up in the emergency room. And if you think about her struggles and her parents' struggles, without the expressive language to be able to communicate what's going on. I mean, that's extremely scary. Mary Beth, in fact, was so ecstatic the day that when she caught a cold from Ben, when he was finally able to communicate to her, his ear hurt. I mean, he had all the cold germs and stuff, and he's breathing into her, but he could like put it against her ear to communicate that he was in pain, and she finally could understand where he was in pain now. Another great story about Samantha. So Samantha does not typically make eye contact. She likes her space. She doesn't like people too close to her. And this was after a visit to the doctors that was actually a real success from Mom's perspective, because there were no meltdowns or no behavior issues. They went to McDonald's to celebrate. And typically, and they had a ritual that they would do, a tradition, whenever they go to McDonald's, what they would do. And along the way, Samantha encountered a man who, had a very kind face, but clearly looked like he was someone who did not have a home. And Mom, Karen Jackson, they're in Virginia, Karen was like, oh dear, how can I move my daughter along? Very faith-filled family, but yet, I don't know if my daughter should really be hanging out with this guy. But anyway, so Samantha actually paused, touched his arm, and looked at him, and looked into his eyes. And it was just such a, Karen was just transformed. Because, she, the evangelist catechist in their family, was, learning from her daughter how to be present to someone.